In order to get the party started, Shepard has to buy some party supplies from a bar in a casino where murder just happened. I don't think that's how it works. It would be one thing if the party was being catered by the casino staff, but as we see during the party, the crew make their own drinks. And where did that sushi come from? I thought the best French sushi restaurant on Citadel was closed. Well, at least the party could provide some interesting interactions, like our grizzly men measuring their testosterone, or our engineers talking about the Normandy and the nature of... Oh, well, what about Miranda and Dr. Chocolate's discussing Shepard's medical history? Well, surely Kelly Chambers being a romantic love interest. Diana Allers? Okay, I'll give him that one. I understand they couldn't put everyone in the party or get the voice actors due to resource constraints, but Chocwas is the only one that gets a mention.
Also, Dr. Chocwas apologizes for not being here. It's some emergency medical consult on the Citadel. She sent some fancy liquor though. It was great. Wish you could have had some. Also, Dr. Chocwas apologizes for not being here. It's some emergency medical consult on the Citadel.
Also, Dr. Chocolate's apologizes for not being here. It's some emergency medical consult on the Citadel.
50,000 years from now, no one will remember this party. What is the point?
Subtle, BioWare. Anyways, the party can be summed up like this. Hey fans, remember how Tally got drunk that one time? Well, let's have more of that! Remember how memes exist? Let's throw references to those memes! Read plenty of Slash involving Miranda and Jack releasing their sexual tension? Let's bring it up! Know how there's fan art and an awesome fan-made audio story featuring the Mass Effect crew having a party and getting into shenanigans? Let's lift some of those elements because our fans know our characters better than we do! To be fair, there's a lot of good interactions at this party, and seeing the crew of the past with the current crew hanging out and putting up with each other's quirks and histories is actually very well written, and performed for the most part. If I had to give a major complaint about the way the party worked, it's that a lot of the dialogue plays out in that Shepard is eavesdropping manner, and a lot of the conversations Shepard is part of is in that free camera style that feels cheap and rushed, rather than the scripted camera cuts that make the conversation seem more dynamic. It's a good thing we won't see this in future games. Right? Also, if you're going to reference how Shepard can't dance, don't have one of the other characters have the same dance animation.
Excellent. Your dancing closely resembles Shepard's.
That's still no excuse. The mechanics of the party itself is simple, yet lead to variations in conversations and actions. The party takes place in 3 phases, and the aftermath of the party. Each party phase seemingly has 2 different modes, but it's only the second choice for the second phase of the party that seems to diverge the party path. The setup for the first phase only creates minor changes in character dialogue and actions. Even though the game gives you a choice of how to change the mood of the third phase, it doesn't seem to change anything as far as I can tell. However, what does affect the third phase are some of the conversation options Shepard has with some of the groups in the second phase, which has the crew change up how they proceed in the conversation.
What's going on over here?
Shepard! Found something to shoot. Shepard!
So here's where the party's at.
Goddamn right. Come to hang out with the popular kids, Shepard.
Shepard.
What's up?
Just demonstrating a little biotic supremacy.
Shepard.
What's up?
Just demonstrating a little physical supremacy.
Everybody okay?
The entertainment efficiency of the party was falling due to inadequate food supplies.
Ouch.
Do not be concerned. I am compensating.
Everybody okay?
Specialist trainer is preparing drinks.
I had no idea you knew how.
Try me.
So the first Normandy kind of evaporated.
It was unfortunate, but Shepard did get a better ship out of the deal.
I wouldn't fight myself for another ship. Or ever again. No more clones.
So the first Normandy kind of evaporated.
I liked that one.
There were some tough fights back then.
Those are battles to remember. A maniac running loose. Death putting people on spikes.
The aftermath, aside from a few dialogue changes depending on the party's events, is the same. Though there is 28 variations to the introduction of the aftermath depending on the romance status and which party path you went down. There's also a chance James will wake up next to a female shepherd, presumably if he showed interest in him during one of his dates.
I don't know. It'd take quite a few drinks and one of those once-in-a-lifetime nights. I'm certainly tempted. Should I roll with the party mood and give in to the feeling or stick with my gut?
And a very drunk, non-romanced female shepherd can wake up to an equally drunk Javik because drunk sex with an extinct alien is funny, but only if it happens to a woman, I guess? Since there isn't an awkward scene of a male shepherd waking up next to an extinct alien of equivalent gender, presumably having had sex with it. Wow, look at the structure in different paths. The party concludes with everyone present taking a large group photo to commemorate the night. Or you can get a photo that commemorates a very sad turnout for the party. After the party is said and done, you get 2 upgrades to the Normandy war asset that contribute 70 points to your EMS, because the mindsets of a handful of people and retrofits on a recon ship will definitely have an impact on the effectiveness of a galaxy-sized army. The game prompts you to return to Normandy after the party, however there's still more to do in Citadel. You can head on over to the Armax Arsenal Arena where Shepard has been given a membership to. I couldn't help but notice this poster in front of the arena. Is this an advertisement or a wanted poster for Kai Lang? The latter one could be possible since it was stated that Kai Lang wiped all footage of himself from security cameras. Another poster that I couldn't help but notice is this one that seems to reuse the first promo still for Mass Effect 3 as an advertisement to recruit more soldiers, presumably for the multiplayer aspect of Mass Effect 3. Keep this in mind. The Armax Arsenal Arena is a holographic combat simulator that seems far more advanced than the military combat simulator of Pinnacle Station. Anyone remember that DLC? No? Well, neither did the BioWare team since there doesn't seem to be a reference to it anywhere despite the obvious similarities. The simulator pretty much plays the same as the Pinnacle Station one, except with more polish and some point modifiers that make the combat simulation easier or harder. There's also a message system from some fans of Shepard that request to see Shepard in specific scenarios with specific squad mates. There's also a side quest that involves fixing a bug in the system. 170 years in the future and we still can't make a scoreboard that supports more than 5 digits. Completing challenges earns Shepard tokens that they can spend at the store for some equipment and permission to use the Mass Effect 2 squad mates in the arena. Where the hell were they during the fight on the Citadel? Considering that they couldn't even be bothered to join up temporarily for their cameo side missions, suddenly they can fight alongside Shepard in a simulation game? For that matter, why the hell is the crew wasting time on fighting holographic simulations of their enemies when they can be fighting the real thing and rescuing people? I think that's why the fan messaging system was thrown in there to justify it as more support. But the same could be said about watching videos of the crew saving the day and killing real enemies. A way this could have worked would have been to incorporate the multiplayer characters as squad members, or even as playable characters in the guise of training other soldiers on shore leave. You know, like that poster? Forget about the Mass Effect 2 characters. I would have rather played with some of those newer classes of characters released in those patches that I was too put off by the multiplayer's random booster pack system to unlock and try. You know where I would have liked to have had the Mass Effect 2 characters fight alongside Shepard? In some story-related missions! You know, how it was vaguely advertised in this DLC?